If you want one sentence that explains the typical American in 2026, it's this. They earn more than the Doom Post suggests, but they're a lot less retirement ready than the internet makes it look. The latest national data says that median household income was around $83,000 in 2024. The latest census wealth data says median household wealth was around $191,000 in 2023. 42% of households had credit card debt with a median balance of $4,700. 55% of adults said they had 3 months of emergency savings, and only 35% of non-retirees said that the retirement plan was on track. That is the real story. A lot of people look okay on paper, but far fewer are actually secure. And that gap matters whether your goal is traditional retirement, semi-retirement, or just getting to the point where work becomes optional sooner than thought possible. In this video, we're going to do 3 things. First, I'm going to show you the shocking financial stat that defined the typical American in 2026: income, wealth, debt, housing, and savings. Second, we're going to talk about the retirement reality underneath those numbers, including what people actually have saved by age and what those balances may really mean in monthly retirement income. And third, I'm going to give you the action plan so you know what to do if you want to be more secure, more prepared, and more work optional over time. And yes, some of the official data lags a bit. That's how personal finance works. The spreadsheet usually shows up after the stress does. Let's start with income. The median household income was around $83,000 in 2024, and the median full-time worker earned around $1,200 a week in 2025, which annualizes to about $62,000 a year. This helps explain why so many households feel like they need 2 incomes, side income, or almost no margin for error just to keep things moving. Now layer housing on top of that. The typical monthly housing payment for a home buyer in the 4 weeks ending March 2026 was around $2,500. Meanwhile, the national median gross rent was around $1,400. So for buyers, that monthly payment alone is around 37% of median gross household income before taxes. That's the big reason why people can feel fine and still not feel ahead. And inflation may be cooler, but life still doesn't feel cheap. In 2026, inflation was around 2.4% year over year, but food away from home was up 4%, electricity was up 6.3%, natural gas 9.8%, and shelter was up by 3%. So when people hear inflation is easing, but the bills they actually touch every month are still very capable of ruining that vibe. Now let's talk wealth. The latest census wealth says median household wealth was around $191,000 in 2023. 61% of households had retirement accounts, and among households that had them, the median value was around $82,000. At the same time, 55% of households had unsecured debt, 42% had credit card debt with a median balance of $4,700, and an 18% had student loans with a balance around $25,000. And that credit card debt is expensive debt, and the average interest rate on credit card was around 21% as of end of 2025. So a $4,700 balance carried over time can eat up roughly to $1,000 a year in interest. That is not just annoying, that is retirement money quietly leaking out of the bucket. So the first big takeaway is this: the typical American is not necessarily bad with money. A lot of people are trying to make progress while income, housing, debt, and the basic cost of living are fighting over the same paycheck. This is where it stops being like a generic money video. The Federal Reserve says that 35% of non-retirees think that their retirement savings plan is on track. But when you break that down by age, it gets even more revealing. 23% for ages 18 to 29, 35% from 30 to 44, 42% for 45 to 59, and 50% for people 60 and older. So even near retirement, only about half of non-retirees feel on track. Now let's talk about the actual account balances. Vanguard says that the average defined contribution in 2024 was around $148,000, but that the median was only $38,000. And that gap matters. The average gets pulled by higher balance savers. The median is a much closer reflection of what your typical participant actually has. Here's the age breakdown from Vanguard's latest data. From ages 25 to 34, average was around $42,000, while the median was around $16,000. Ages 35 to 44, the average was around $103,000 and the median was around $39,000. Ages 45 to 54, the average was was around $188,000 and median was around $67,000. From 55 to 64, average was around $270,000 and median was $95,000. 65 plus, the average was around $299,000 and the median was around $95,000. And this is the part that sounds a little less glamorous once we convert it into retirement income. And at a 4% withdrawal rate, the median Vanguard participant balance of $38,000 is only $127 a month. The median balance for ages 55 to 64, which is around $95,000, works out to be $319 a month. Even the average balance for ages 55 to 64 works out to be $900 a month. So yes, a six-figure balance sounds impressive at dinner. It sounds less impressive when it has to help pay for bills for the next 25 to 30 years. This is why Social Security needs to add another layer. According to Social Security's 2026 snapshot, the average retiree benefit was around $2,000 a month. For many households, Social Security is the foundation, and savings are what turn that foundation into something that is more livable. And retirement has another bill people still underestimate: healthcare. Fidelity's latest estimate says that a 65-year-old retiring in 2025 may need over $170,000 for healthcare and medical expenses throughout retirement. That is one of the biggest reasons I keep saying retirement is not just about hitting a number. It is about understanding what that number does for you. So if you're watching this and thinking, I do not need one more generic retirement checklist, I need an actual strategy, a system in place. That's the exact kind of work I do. I help people build real retirement readiness plans around their accounts, taxes, Social Security, healthcare, and timing. Whether the goal is full retirement, semi-retirement, or getting to the point where work becomes optional earlier. If you want to work with me, the link is in the description box below. Now let's talk about why these numbers feel so heavy right now. First, housing has split America into different financial realities. The census says 39% of owner-occupied homes were owned free and clear in 2020 to 2024 period. Nearly 40% of homeowners don't have a mortgage. Meanwhile, renters face a national median gross rent around $1,400, and buyers were looking at a typical monthly payment of $2,500 in early March of 2026. So we're not living in one household economy. We're living in at least two. Second, the cash buffer is thinner than most people think. The Fed says 63% of adults could cover a hypothetical $400 emergency expense using cash or equivalent, but only 55% had 3 months of emergency savings. And Bankrate found only 47% said they had enough liquidity or access to funds to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. So a lot of people are functioning, but fewer are resilient than they look. Third, the labor market is getting mixed signals. As of the jobs report released in March of 2026, the unemployment rate was 4.4% and payroll employment fell by 92,000 in February. Jobs in information, professional services, and federal government continued to have a trend down. So the labor market is not just collapsing, but it's clearly not effortless either. And then there's AI. LinkedIn says that US jobs requiring AI literacy grew 70% year over year. The World Economic Forum says that 2/3 of employers plan to hire talent with AI skills, while 40% anticipate reducing staff where AI can automate tasks. So the issue in 2026 is not just can I earn, it's increasingly can I stay valuable? And that matters for retirement because your last working years are often the most important saving years. This is the deeper story here. This is not just a budgeting problem. It is a margin problem, a housing problem, a skills problem, and for a lot of people, a retirement timing problem. So what do you do with all this? First, stop measuring progress only by net worth and start measuring progress by retirement income potential. Ask yourself, what could my accounts realistically produce? What would Social Security add? What would healthcare cost? What would housing cost? That shift alone moves you from, I hope I'm okay, to I know what the plan is. Second, build liquidity on purpose. If your goal is traditional retirement, 3 months of expenses is a strong baseline. If your goal is earlier retirement or making work optional, I would think in terms of your freedom fund too. More cash, more flexibility, less desperation. Because work optional is not just an investing goal, it is a cash flow and resilience goal. Third, increase your savings rate gradually, but do it intentionally. Fidelity's latest analysis says that the average total 401k savings rate was around 14%, made up of 9.5% employee contribution rate and a 4.7% employer contribution rate. That is very close to Fidelity's long-standing 15% target. So one practical move is to increase your contribution by 1% every time you get a raise, bonus, or calendar reset. Unfortunately, I'll catch up later is not an approved strategy. Fourth, know your 2026 contribution room. So for 2026, the 401k limit is around $24,000. If you're 50 plus, that rises to about $30,000. If you're 60 to 63, the higher catch-up is $35,000 $8,350. The IRA limit is $7,500 or $8,600 if you're 50 plus, and HSA limits are $4,400 for self-only coverage and $8,750 for family coverage, plus the usual catch-up if you're 55 plus. You do not need to max out everything to make progress, but you should know how much room you have. Fifth, treat housing like part of the retirement plan only if you actually plan to use it. If your house will be paid off by retirement, that is a huge advantage. If most of your wealth is tied up in the house, then be honest now about whether you plan to stay, downsize, relocate, or tap equity later. A house can absolutely help retirement. It is one of your biggest costs. It just does not automatically send you a monthly paycheck. 6, protect your earning power. You do not need to become an AI engineer. Most people don't, but you do need to stay employable, adaptable, and useful in a world where skills are constantly changing and changing very fast. Protecting your income in your 40s, 50s, and early 60s may be one of the most important retirement strategies you have. Last but not least, get clear on what retirement actually means for you. For some people, it means full stop. For others, it means part-time consulting, lower stress, fewer hours, more freedom, and the ability to say no to bad work. A lot of smart people are not chasing never work again, they're chasing work optional. And that is a very different number, often a more realistic one, and sometimes a more appealing one too. So what does the shocking financial stat about the typical American in 2026 tell us? They tell us that the typical American is not necessarily reckless, not necessarily lazy. They're often trying to build a future in an economy where housing is split, cash buffers are thin, and retirement readiness is much weaker than social media makes it seem. Median household income was around $83,000. Median household wealth is $191,000. Only 35% of non-retirees say they were on track for retirement. And when you look at actual retirement balances by age, it becomes very clear why so many people feel behind. That's the real takeaway. The goal is not to look fine on paper. The goal is to have enough margin, enough invested assets, and enough strategy that retirement actually works. Whether that means a traditional retirement, a slower transition, or making work optional. And again, if you want help building that plan, putting a system in place with real numbers, real retirement projections, and a strategy that fits your life, you can book a link in the description box below. Because doing okay and being retirement ready are not the same thing. And once you know that, you can do something about it. Friends, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. You can check out my next video on retirement and work optional readiness over here. See you in the next one.